Okay, we're going to focus on finding x and y intercepts of quadratics. So we've been given this. One of the first things we might want to do is make sure, or at least attempt to figure out what form of a quadratic this is written in. If you're familiar with them, you'll probably pretty quickly notice that this is actually written in the factored form. And the factored form allows us to find our x-intercepts relatively quickly. Because x-intercepts live on the x-axis, that means that the y values must be 0 at this point. If a y value is 0, that means essentially your f at x, you're looking to find f at x when it is equal to 0. And in order to do that with this equation, we know that we can just substitute 0 in for f at x. So we can say 0 has now been substituted in for f at x is equal to x plus 1, x minus 3. We end up in a scenario where we have, think of it like two terms again. We'll call them a and b. A times b must equal 0. And in any times using mathematical multiplication rules, that means a or b must be 0. So what we do is we split this equation. We say that 0 is equal to x plus 1, 0 is equal to x minus 3, and we isolate for x. So we just got to bring positive 1 to the other side, so we should get negative 1 as the root and positive 3 as the root in this case. In other words, what that means is negative 1, positive 3. That means we have some quadratic, and the a value is positive. That looks like this. So we have the two x-intercepts. Those are considered the x-intercepts. Y-intercept, though, not as easy. There's a couple things we can do from this equation. One of them is we know that y-intercepts live on the y-axis, and they also means x is equal to 0 at that point. We can solve for f at 0, okay, and we'll quickly do that here. We have our bracket 0 plus 1, 0.
Oh, that's what I did wrong.
Yeah, 0 minus 3. And you get 1 minus 3, negative 3. In other words, this y-intercept lives at negative 3, or 0, negative 3 if you want to write it as a coordinate. We could have written these as coordinates too. The y values as 0. The other thing you could have technically done is use distributive property, but to be honest, substituting the 0 in is a much quicker way. If you use distributive property or you expanded, you would have got the standard form, and in standard form, the c value is the y-intercept, but again, this is a faster method to solving that. We can double check our answers just to make sure. X plus 1, x minus 3. See, we've been using a lot of decimals here. F at x equals x plus 1, x minus 3. We take a look, negative 1, positive 3, negative 3, exactly like we said it would be. Okay.